Welcome back to another episode of Donio Sports. Let's do the Super Bowl predictions. Super Bowl game day today. Can't wait. Kickoff is at 5:30 today. I'll be uploading this very soon. But um, coming in the Super Bowl, if I had to say, both these teams we did not expect to see. We did not expect to see the New England Patriots going 4-13 and the Sam Darnold led Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks were great last year, but they didn't make the playoffs. But like a second-year head coach of Mike McDonald, and they're in the Super Bowl. And it is these two teams. How I describe their identity is defense. Okay, you look at New England's path. I mean, they've been playing the top tier defenses in the playoffs. I mean, Chargers, wild card, divisional, Texans, and then Broncos, and they still somehow won the game with Drake Maye throwing 86 yards, but unbelievable. But the big thing about New England is the quarterback play. Okay, they've been playing terrible quarterbacks, well, like terrible offenses, if anything, not quarterbacks, but like Justin Herbert, the O line sucked. Okay, Texans, C.J. Stroud threw 4 picks in the first half, and then a backup quarterback in Jarrett Stidham last week. If Bo Nix played, it would have been a bit different situation, but it happens. Okay, in New England, easiest path ever since 1999 for a team. And it's unbelievable how they made it made sense because they had the easiest schedule and they played a team like you look at the schedule they had. Every single team has only like 3 teams kept their coach. The rest were all fired. Their division, Dolphins fired their head coach, Bills fired their head coach. I mean, straight up tore everyone apart pretty much. I would say because these were just terrible teams, and it helps when a division like this, and you split the series with the Bills, and the Bills are, I don't know. Maybe the Bills window is officially closed with now the New England Patriots back in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Okay, but I will talk about it later in my prediction about this. But overall, it's just New England making it back in the big game since 2019, and you look at the teams, like we still haven't seen the Cowboys, we still haven't seen the Bills, um, and the Patriots built a rebuild in a 6 year span. Like they had a terrible like Mac Jones, they had a bust quarterback, got Cam Newton for a year also, and then 4-13 back to back years, and then fired Bill Belichick, and then got Mike had Mayo, and they got Mike Vrabel this year, and Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year, brought this team back in the Super Bowls. Unbelievable season, if I have to say. And switching gears to the NFC side, Seattle. Sam Darnold got kicked out of every single team in his career. Like you look at the Jets, 4 years as a Jet, got kicked out. The Jets failed him. Okay, went on to Carolina with 3-0 for a quick minute, and then they fell apart. And then they got Baker Mayfield came in. He got benched for Baker, and then he got sent to he signed with San Fran. And his current OC is Clint Kubiak, and Clint Kubiak was on the Niners, so chemistry right there. And then went on to Minnesota, was supposed to be a backup quarterback. Then JJ got hurt, and then Sam Darnold had a unbelievable season. Went 14-3, lost first round to the Rams, got his gig back, 2 weeks ago against the Rams. But minus that, it is kind of a shell shocking story. And being the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to make it to a Super Bowl as a starter, because he did make the Super Bowl in 23, but as a starter, well, kind of a sort of before Lamar. I mean, both guys won MVP. Before Baker Mayfield, a guy were started over him in Carolina. Kind of a story, if I had to say. And then you look at the overall Seahawks team. I mean, JSN won Offensive Player of the Year a couple of nights ago. Unbelievable story right there with this team. And then they beat the MVP in the NFC Championship also with that. So this team has a story. And the defense, the defense is unbelievable. I mean, they're first in defense or top 5 right now if I'm confirmed with that. The playoffs have been dominating every team. 41-6 the Niners. I mean, they've only played their division, of course, though. But the division, the NFC West, was unbelievable this year. Came down to wire in the NFC Championship against the Rams because of fourth down, and then Nick Oremo got the SWAT down pretty much, and kind of had an unbelievable game by him. So, I don't know. It's been a precedent of this defense, I got to say. And D-Law, additions like a D-Law, of course, Nick, and then a couple of other additions, and then still got Witherspoon. Witherspoon's been really good to this team. I mean, the secondary overall, this defense has been really good. That's a big thing I got to take away with that. And it helps with the offense with Clint Kubiak and Sam Darnold, building off the play action with the run game with Kenneth Walker and JSN. And then Rashid Shaheed has been a big factor of the return game with the punt returns, kickoff returns. That's going to be a big factor in the Super Bowl, I got to say, with that for today, okay? Um, so you look at these stories for both these teams, no one could have thought if I had to say. I had no way, if anything. I mean, you look at the Super Bowl image of the before the season, they had the two, Patriots and Seahawks right there. So yeah. But other than that, if you win this game, Super Bowl back for we got a rematch of Super Bowl 49, of course, and both these teams are completely different of like structure of team. No one has the same exact players from the back to Super Bowl, so like it's both brand new teams. I mean, can the Seahawks get their get back throwing the one, throwing the pick at the one, and second and goal, not running a march on Lynch? Can they get back? It's going to be tough because you look at New England. New England finds a way to win no matter what. In every single thing we look at in the seasons or careers of New England, we always bet against New England because like there's no way New England should win this. No way. And the year we bet against with New England, they're like, oh, New England's going to get it done. They lose the Super Bowl. So it's like it's unbelievable. You look at what New England. So yeah, and another thing is Sam Darnold beat his ghost, like, because there's a saying, like, Sam Darnold in his career against New England, he's 0-4, 11 interceptions, 1 touchdown, worst QBR in those games when he was on the Jets. So he is not the best against the New England Patriots. So can he get that rematch against them? Because you look at his career, Niners, he was on the Niners for a little bit, of course, and then he beat the Niners, beat the team, Brock Purdy and them, and then beat the Rams, who beat him last year. So can he get his revenge on a team that's been dominating him earlier in his career? Maybe. Okay. Um, if I had to like look at this team, another subject, for a winner of this game is going to determine which defense will break. Which defense will break early? That's the big factor in this game, I have to say. Like, will New England's defense finally break after like 3 weeks straight of just dominating these terrible offenses? Or will Seattle's defense finally be exposed? I mean, Seattle's defense is good, but in shootouts, they can have shootouts. That's the biggest concern because they have a good defense. It's just the shootout games, and they win shootouts, but there's more likely of shootouts. Okay, New England. You look at the stretch with them playing winning teams, and they've not played a single winning team except these playoffs, of course, and they somehow won these games. Drake Maye is not the best. Okay, Drake Maye hasn't had that game this year in the playoffs that says, okay, he's that guy. We're still waiting for that because you look in the first round, he looked terrible. He only did it in the second half. The Texans game, he did nothing special. They had 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns in that game, but like 3 fumbles, and then the Broncos game, 86 yards, and his best play. I mean, he had Matt Collins for that one play. But other than that, he had the bootleg for the game-winning first down. That's it. That was the biggest takeaway, if I have to say, with this team. With that, it's just been a big on the run game and the defense, if I have to say, this year. And the run game is not even that special. I mean, Henderson's been good, but like he wasn't even a big factor in the Broncos game. It was Stevenson. Stevenson was a big factor in that game. So it really depends if New England can limit Sam Darnold in them. That's the thing. And Christian is going to be following JSN all day. That's a good matchup right there. I mean, those guys, both from Texas. Christian from Colin, from the Colony, and then you got JSN from the Rockwall. I mean, Rockwall, that game, man, 6 touchdowns, unbelievable game in AT&T. I remember was in like middle school when he did that stuff, and I was like, wow. Like I knew he was going to be that guy. And then you go Ohio State, the Ohio State year, the Rose Bowl went off in that game. He's always had a great year, in my opinion. And again, when JSN fell at 19, it was honestly a steal. And then this year, breaking out with no DK and no Tyler Lockett was a big factor. Because you forget DK was the main guy, that Tyler Lockett was a slot. And then they put JSN in. Can JSN be the future? And JSN became the future a little bit. And obviously, he's been unbelievable this year. So, yeah. And another thing I got to say is, can New England's offensive line sustainably block for Drake Maye? You got 2 rookies on the offensive line. I know it's a big factor. Can they handle D-Law, Leonard Williams, Boy Mafe, Derek Hall, Ernst Jones in the back end? I mean, in the blitzes, of course. Can they handle that? Because that's a big factor for this team because they're just not the best. They're young and raw. I'm just worried about, like, can they get the blocking protection going right? Because, like, Drake Maye's been on his butt all this playoffs. That's the big thing about this I've seen realize for these teams. So, That's the big thing with that. Okay, can it happen? Can it change? Of course it can. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. These teams have been matching up pretty well, knowing each other well. So we'll see today at 5:30, of course. But it's going to be an entertaining game, and of course in Santa Clara, of course. And I can't wait to see watch that persistent go down. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. I gotta say how the Super Bowl goes because I don't know. Like I don't have a team yet. I mean, of course, I have to say my prediction, of course, in the thing, but like I don't have a complete team yet. I still gotta. It's a parastomp, man. This is a Super Bowl that no one expected, and the hype for this game has been very weak, if I have to say. So yeah, that's what I've been realizing for these teams throughout this whole thing. Um, and another thing is, should have Drake May won an MVP? That's a big thing, is because now Drake May, the MVP is a whole stretch now because like the Matthew Stafford won MVP, but he had better stats over Drake May. But Drake May was the most valuable player for the Patriots. But then last year, Josh Allen was the most valuable player for the Bills, and Lamar Jackson beat him every stat. That's another debate for another day, of course. But that is just the Don telling of that whole situation, I have to say. So we go in these early things of that, the bets and all that kind of things. I mean, you look at this right now. I think Seattle was fair at 3.5 in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is a big person right there. And another interesting fact is teams wearing all white or like wearing white in the Super Bowl usually win the Super Bowl, unless you're like the Chiefs a couple years ago in the Eagles. Okay, recent memory. Okay, that's the big thing I realize. So can that be a big factor? Maybe. I don't know. That's like a big stereotypical thing or hypothesis, if anything, of those kind of things. Superstitious stuff, okay? Another thing is I saw a couple days ago is like the interesting thing is if Chris Collinsworth says the if he mentions Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, he will. I would honestly bet on that because he was going to probably say like, this is the first time since the Patriots made the Super Bowl since Tom Brady, and it's been Mahomes' era a little bit. So he's going to bring up Mahomes, of course. So yeah, we'll see with that. And you look at Seattle, how they came back. I mean, Mike McDonald's been unbelievable coach. I mean, he should have been a coach of the year. He was coach of the year candidate, but Mike Vrabel, unbelievable year. But like, you look at what he's done with this team has been in the span of 2 years, 9-8 or 10-7 last year. Got rid of Geno Smith, got rid of all the old guys in the locker room, pretty much those Pete Carroll guys, and brought his offense out there. And Click back. He's going to Las Vegas, of course. So I can't wait to see how he does in Vegas with maybe Fernando or Derek Carr maybe come back, and with Genty and Brock Bowers. That situation will be really good for this team. So going to be very interesting how that offense is going to be next year and that team overall. And Seattle, I think Seattle won't miss a beat next year. So yeah. Another thing I think is we got to talk about is both these teams won't be back again. That's the thing you got to realize, because we see these teams. This is their only shot to maybe the Patriots because they have a young quarterback in Drake Maye, but Seattle, they got to get it done. So the NFC is always wide open every single year. You're not guaranteed to go back to back in the NFC. AFC, possibly because it depends on your quarterback play. NFC, roster. Who has the best roster that? Who's the most healthiest that year? That's the big thing about the NFL. It's a mile climb. You're not guaranteed to make it back to Super Bowl unless you have a top tier quarterback or the best quarterback in the league if you're Mahomes and he's healthy, and Tom Brady when he's healthy. That's the big thing of that. Maybe not. I don't know. I just think we look at that as a big factor. I gotta say, because both these teams will not be back next year. If I'm wrong and Super Bowl 61 comes around and we see the Patriots back in the Super Bowl and Seahawks, I'll be wrong with that. But you know how it is go. But yeah, with none of this factor, I think that if I had to say like Super Bowl MVP for these teams, if they win, I think Christian or Drake May will be the MVPs for the New England if they win, and then JSN or maybe I think JSN will be a factor. I think he will be a chance for the MVP and Sam Darnold, of course. I don't know. We'll see, or maybe a defense player for the Seahawks, if anything, because that defense is really good. Legion of Boom 2.0, Dark Side, pretty much the Dark Side defense, and all those names they got for themselves. I mean, that's I don't know, or Doomsday defense. I don't know. There's so many nicknames they have for their defense, and it's been a really good defense, if anything. So yeah, we'll see how these teams go in the Super Bowl. Um, Now like I think more into it later in this video. A team I gotta pick. It is tough to pick against New England because New England finds a way to win. You look at the games they played this year and the tight games against like the Ravens, the Bills, the Bucks. I mean, high scoring games. They get it done. It's just like it's not pretty though. That's the thing I realize. They come back in the Baltimore game in that game, and there was no Lamar Jackson in that game. And they still almost lost that game, but still, yeah. In the Bills game earlier this year, winning Buffalo, turnovers a big factor in that game. Defense. Okay, like my mind says Seattle, of course, the better team, better overall, more experience, more explosive plays, of course, and they're the first seed. But New England finds a way. They always find a way. I just hate New England so much, but they find a way always to win the damn Super Bowl. Give me the Seattle Seahawks winning their second Lombardi, 30, no, 28-24, the same score of Super Bowl 49, and the Seahawks win by a defensive stop, limiting Drake Maye in that offense, getting that stop. And I trust that Seahawks defense today. I know it's high scoring games, but I think Seattle's defense is going to put some pressure on Drake Maye. Drake Maye is not going to be able to do anything, and it's going to be a very reckless game, exposing his ability without playing, a bad team and a bad offense. Because the second New England can't get a stop on the Seahawks defense, they're done. They're done. Or New England can't get a score in the red zone or something like that, and they have to kick field goals. They're done. That's the big factor. I just pray the Super Bowl is not like a Super Bowl 53, like a boring Super Bowl. I just want to entertain the game. We all want to entertain game. We'll see with that. But yeah, give me the Seahawks winning 28-24 in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP Sam Darnold. Yeah. And heading in the offseason, do the Seahawks running back maybe? Running back to Super Bowl because they got to pay some people. They got to play Kenneth Walker. They got a lot of people, I think, they got to pay this offseason. If I look into it. They got some monies, to pay this offseason. We look at it right now. Shahid's gonna be a big factor in the Super Bowl, of course. I think he's gonna be a factor. But like Josh Jobs, Boy Mafe, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen. He's probably gone. He's a terrorist, if anything. That man sold them last game after the penalty. Oof. But I think the big factor is going to go get Kenneth Walker. I think you got to re-sign Kenneth Walker this offseason to bring him back. I know Charbonnet's been good, but he's coming off an ACL last year of this game pretty much, and he, probably won't be the same running back because ACLs are pretty tough, and he got hurt in the Niners game, so it's going to be a minute for that. So most likely, I think they'll be bringing back their guy in Kenneth Walker. And now New England. If New England loses this game, can they get back to the mountaintop from this game? I think they can. I think they can easily get back. Drake Maye is only 23. This draft class of the 2024 has been unbelievable. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. That class has been really good, and we're still waiting for Penix to have that great season. And JJ, we don't even need to talk about JJ because JJ is done after that, okay? They're trying their best to get rid of him or try to get a veteran in that system so they can be a comfortable team next year. Because JJ, he's just like Zach Wilson, I got to say. Just like Zach Wilson, and you just need a veteran to help him, okay? So that's my big thing with that team, okay? Enough of this, though. Let me know in the comments. I know it's a late upload, of course, with that, but we will do a season recap after today with the Super Bowl, and I can't wait. Can't wait for the halftime to see Bad Bunny and, be dancing a little bit with that. Maybe see some Drake, maybe see some Superior Carpenter. I don't know how the halftime is going to go, but, yeah, can't wait. And the first touchdown will be Drake Maye running it in. Yeah, Drake Maye running it in for a touchdown. That's my prediction with that. But either way, thank you all for joining me this episode of Donia Sports. Like and subscribe, and go Hawks today.